Good afternoon, everybody. Are we happy to be here? You don't look excited. Are you happy to be here? If you are happy to be here, say TNC 2.0. Yeah, thank you very much. Quite a lot of people here, and it's a great privilege to sit with you. But before I start, I was supposed to be talking to yourself and Cross, but Cross, I think he's still on his way. I hope he makes it. But before I start asking you a couple of questions, let me start with the audience. All right? Let's say you have $1 million right now. Would you rather invest in real estate, or you will invest in crypto? Calm down. If you will invest in crypto, please raise your hand. If you invest in real estate. Oh, okay, calm down. I believe you can see why we want to have this conversation. So there's a lot of interest and demand for fintechs to begin to implement blockchain offerings and services to their day-to-day service, right? There has been that increase in demand. I remember one time I was in a Taxify. Before I got to my destination, I could convert my crypto to Naira to pay the Taxify driver. That is how crypto has been made easy so far. But there's still a vast majority that don't trust the activities of the blockchain. So we want to hear from somebody like you, who is both popular, who is an influencer, to share with us your journey. Because I've seen that in this crypto space, you are either a believer or a non-believer, right? And I want to believe a lot of people here want to be converted by your testimonies. So would you please tell us, how has been the journey so far with you? Like, how did it start? Just tell us about it.
Thank you very much for the question and the opportunity to speak here. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm just as regular as every other person sitting here. I wasn't brought here by any brand or by any, DeFi platform. And my journey started the exact same way, I believe a lot of them have started their journeys. The first time I heard about crypto was 2015.
Wow.
And when I heard Bitcoin, the exact meaning that it gave me was MMM. So I just saw Bitcoin equals MMM. It is all a scam because I didn't understand it. And one of my biggest regrets today is that I didn't invest in crypto at the time early enough, or I didn't understand it. And I think that was something that we lacked, which was education in the crypto space. But I'm happy about what is happening today with the internet, and with, of course, more players coming into the space from Africa. We can see people get into it and see them have success, so we can have access to information, asking questions and speaking with people. The first question you asked to the audience was basically if they would invest in
something you can see.
In something you can see, rather than
as opposed to
crypto.
investing in crypto, yeah.
And if you asked me this question maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I would say land, property, But also because I understand, and the truth is that the real currency of every business is actually trust. And people trust what is tangible, what they can see. And that is what I believe that centralized platforms, centralized finance have been able to cash in on, which is trust. Yeah. You trust the banker, you trust the man in a suit, you trust the building of the bank, with the glass walls. You trust that they wouldn't run away with your money because you see them and you trust the teller and the processes. But with the way the world has moved, economies are moving, centralized government and centralized finance have begun to let people down, and so people need alternatives. And I also feel and believe that Africans and Africa needs a chance at creating wealth in their own or on their own terms, which is where I was, and so I began to look for answers to my questions. How do I create wealth? Something that I learned a long time ago was, don't buy a car with the money you earn, and don't buy a house with the money you earn. Buy a car with the money that your money creates for you. Buy a car with the money that your business is able to make for you. And so I began to understand later on, when I began to find answers, that crypto is a way of creating money and creating wealth on my own terms. And so I think that the answer to that question basically for me would be that I would invest in crypto, because with crypto I can multiply money. I wouldn't just have $1 million or $1 million. I will multiply it, or have a chance at multiplying a portion of it to become even bigger than the capital, and then use that to buy land or buy a house or buy a car. So I think that, my journey started from, seeing other people have success in or with crypto, and then I began to ask questions and find those answers for myself a couple of years back. And I just wanted to see, what is crypto and how do I understand it first?
Yeah.
So thankfully, friends put me through, and that's how it started.
That's fantastic. You've shared quite a lot with us. And one of the things that stood out for me was you took out time to do your own what? Research. If there is a phrase that is popular amongst the crypto space, is that word, do your own what? And they will tell you this is not a financial advice. You have to do your own research. But can you share with us like a blueprint? When you say do your own research, what are the 1, 2, 3 things you look out for before you invest in a crypto asset?
So first of all, I started with trying to understand what crypto was, and then how do I get crypto? And then when I understood how to get crypto, I realized that there were several exchanges and platforms that I could get crypto from. So I then went into studying how I could trust those platforms. So there are several platforms, and then you have to engage with a platform that you can trust. And then from there, I then, tested with a little money. How do I then interact with these platforms? How do I then exchange fiat, the money that I have, my naira? How do I exchange it for crypto?
So you didn't put all your money at
I did,
first.
of course. Now, how will I put all my money? So basically, that's what it was. That was what the journey looked like. And then I think that I then began to later find ways of removing more processes, making it swifter and faster. So you understand that, I'm sure you do, decentralized finance is also to help remove most of the systems and processes that, exclude people from financial inclusion. So I began to look for platforms that gave me easier, quicker ways of putting in money and getting money back out, But the truth is, as decentralized, finance and exchanges try to move forward, the truth is that we belong to countries and governments that make policies that also restrict some of these things. Yeah. So it's always, I'm always in a place where I also have to get into the jungle of finding the quickest and best ways for me. That's basically what it has been like.
Thank you very much. So if there's one thing I took out from your answer is, after doing all the research that you could lay hands on, you tested, like you dipped one of your legs in the waters first before going all in. So I'm going to ask the next question. If I have access to hack your crypto wallet and I wipe everything, would you consider yourself broke, or crypto investment is just an option out of many options for you?
God. Um, yeah. So the truth is, when I saw the success that crypto gave me, I went in like I just went wild. I invested little and then got a lot back, and then invested little, and I got in right at the tip of the boom. So, like, I got an 18x. I think I went wild with that. Till date, with everything that I've invested and all the money that I've put into crypto, I have never taken anything back yet. Because for me, I'm more about
The future.
the future, creating wealth, but also I've been able to also show young boys and empower people and empower people and show them the way. Because I would talk to a couple of my colleagues and a couple of friends, and they would just be like, "Oh, mom, I don't understand this thing. I don't fit get am." Like, and so most of the time, and I'm grateful for a friend who sat down with me and put me through because the truth is, sometimes you just see guys and you see people like, now crypto, but then nobody gives you the tools to understand it and teaches you the way to actually get into this thing. But then, of course, with just a couple of hours with my friend, I dived into YouTube. Now, with the success of that, with the money that is stored in my crypto wallet, so if it is hacked
You are
and
gone.
someone takes it takes all the money, I wouldn't say I'm done. Because like I said, I started with a bit and they began to put in more. But again, the major should I say, instruction and guiding principle that I've been able to keep at the back of my mind and also practice is that I have never gone into it with what I cannot lose. Now that you know that there's a crash. And so imagine somebody having like hundreds of thousands of, worth of crypto, hundreds of thousands of dollars, coming down to hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
With that, all I know is that with what I've learned, you only lose when you sell in the deep. So it's just basically a waiting game and timing. So wouldn't say that I've lost everything, but it would just be painful, man. It would just it go enter my blood.
Okay. So, someone told me the problem with investing in crypto itself is investing short term, thinking you will just put some money and cash out. And the person asked me, would you buy a land today and every day you go to that land and be checking the land if the price of the land has gone up or it has come down? Is that what you do? If you want to invest, you buy real estate, you wait, right, for that real estate to have some sort of value before you do what? And nobody uses school fees to buy real estate. Your children's school fees, you don't do that. And that is one of the things you also said that stood out, that you were able to invest something you can lose. So now that you also mentioned about this whole period, those who play in that space will tell you there is currently winter in the space, right? With all that is happening, with all the plunge and
There's
all of
blood
that.
everywhere.
Exactly, there is blood everywhere. With all of this, would you consider yourself a profitable investor so far?
I think that with everything said, I would still consider myself a profitable investor. Because with economies around the world, there is always the peak season and the low peak season. And I think that right now is still an amazing time and an amazing opportunity. People have an amazing opportunity to still get into the space. When there is blood, where everywhere is red, it is the best time to actually invest. And so right now I will still consider it, fate and life giving us all another chance at taking what we can to, have a wealth transfer. But I also want to say something. about to some of the people sitting here. You were talking about giving or investing with what you can lose.
Yeah.
The truth is that the reality of a lot of people, they don't have that option of investing what they can lose, because what they have is their all. But the truth is that there is also no other way of cashing in, or should I say, changing your trajectory financially without taking risks. So if you ask me, because right now there is no other way. I don't think that there is any clearer way and quicker way of and legal way of making money. I would say, because the truth is that your all was never enough anyway. So for me, people who are able to make it in the crypto space are people who have apple beams, spine. People who are able to say, man, we die on the line. And people who are able to also wait. So I would say for now, especially for the beginning period, take a little bit of your all, learn with how to transact, but then also don't be shy or shy away from giving it or putting in everything.
Yeah, thank you very much. A friend of mine would always say, victory is for the brave, right? Yeah, you have to take a lot of risk. And a warrior is coward at first until he wins. Because if he fails, people will say, you didn't think before you went into the battle. People will only praise you when you've won, right? So it's a very clear understanding. And then I've heard some people also say, until one Bitcoin falls back to $1, they've not made loss yet in the crypto space. So the question is, what are you going to tell your children if you don't leverage on this situation 5 years from now, 10 years from now? When your children are going to see other people who are leveraging on the blockchain and see how far they've gone, they are going to ask you, how far now? Where are your mates? Because to be honest, some of our parents were there when Apple was selling stocks, right? Were selling shares, but they refused to buy. And the next best time to leverage on the future is now, whether you like it or not. The question is, will you be able to take the risk? So, what are some of the most exciting moments you've had so far? You talked about a time you made about 18x of your investment. So, is that the best time you've ever had? Or you have other exciting moments to share?
That was actually the most exciting moment, because I had recently just begun to understand the space, understand crypto, and then that happened. And so I was able to take, capital and then diversify into other coins. My first buy was actually Ethereum and Litecoin. And then, I just pulled out all my Litecoin immediately and put more into, Ethereum. And then, pulled out again and then began to diversify. Of course, like I said, I educated myself a lot. I watched a lot of, YouTube videos. I read a lot of, journals, asked a lot of questions. And so that really helped me to understand. And then shortly after, a couple of months later, I then began to hear NFTs, and I was just like, which one? Kilele, which one is NFT again? Can they allow somebody to just understand and settle in one first before another one comes? But then I went into that, learning and understanding that, and I think that just began to open the horizon for me.
Can you put a round of applause for Akah Nnani? Thank you very much. I know I've been asking a lot of questions. Do you have questions? Does the audience have questions they want to ask? Please, somebody should help with the microphones. So I'm going to take, how many questions do we have? Okay, so I'm seeing only 3 hands up. I'm going to take just 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The very first hand over there.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for a wonderful revelation because I started as someone that was a newbie too in this space. So, as a trader or as an investor, how did you learn to whenever market pull downs, how did you learn? Did you add to positions or did you take out? Like, how did you manage your investing as a whole?
Can you please help me tell it
Okay,
again?
so what he's asking is, how do you know when to remove from the market or
Timing,
put back
timing
into
the market.
Yeah,
Omo.
that's your question, right?
Okay.
Is there a blueprint?
There is no blueprint. Let me tell you something. You cannot time the market. The best advice I would give is is before you make an investment, just have a goal of how much you want to get back. When you get to that amount, pull out.
I think that's the general rule of trading.
Yeah,
Like,
which is a general rule of trade because you cannot time. Nobody timed the beer when it came. There was still hype about the bull run when this last dip came in, and of course, some of us still got trapped in it with some investments. But some of us had also taken some form or some parts or portions of our profit. Again, in with crypto, you never lose. So it's just about waiting and timing. However, I would say don't ever aim to time the market. You can't. You're not in the big leagues or the big dogs where they know who is going to or when somebody is going to just pull out some money that will make something crash, or who nobody knows when Elon Musk is going to tweet to make something move. So the best thing is make an investment. When you get to the amount you know you are okay with, pull out. It doesn't matter if somebody else makes 10 times more than that. It's fine. You understand? So don't be greedy. And it's the same rule of law with even, the only reason why 419ers are able to catch anybody is because of greed. The only reason why people also, fail in business is greed. So don't take greed into the crypto market. Know what you want, get into it and get it and
thank you
invest
very
again.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think we've done justice to your question, right? Thank you. The next person, I saw another hand. Yes.
Good afternoon. I was now able to ask this question during my breakout session.
We can barely hear you. If you can take off your mask.
Okay, so I was not able to ask this question during my breakout session, but even if you can't answer, maybe anybody else can help answer it. So, one of the things we know blockchain about is being decentralized, and we were told that by just the creation of a wallet, you have the services of the entire blockchain system. So now, my question is, if we were able to sign up using wallets, I believe that there's a database or something like that where all these are stored, and there are people who.
Sorry, please. I'm finding it very hard to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, it's better.
All right. So I said I was not able to ask this question during my breakout session, but if you cannot answer, maybe any other person can help answer.
Okay, so is this question for this session or for your breakout session?
It's for anybody to answer me, honestly.
Okay, let's stick with questions regarding this session. Don't worry, people will come to attend to the questions you were unable to ask at the breakout session. Is that fine?
All right,
Thank
no
you
problem.
very much. I really appreciate it. The next question, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arinze, and I'm currently building a startup in the educational space. You shared your experience and how it was difficult understanding the space, how it works, and all. And something that is certain in this internet age is that there is an overabundance of content. Information is overabundant. What's scarce now is attention. So what insights would you can you share about what you felt someone could have better worked on to have helped you achieve the height you have now, or even better, in the shortest time possible? What do you think someone you wish you'd had? What structure of education do you wish you could have had? I would just like you to share insights on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. I think at the time, 3 years ago, there wasn't an oversaturation or an abundance of information in the space yet. I think that there were, people who were playing in the field personally, but not on an organizational level, especially with media and the attention to it. And we're thankful for, organizations like TechNext Conference and, journals that's at Tech Cabal that, do their best in putting out information about, crypto and basically information about the space. And I think that the successes of, a lot of platforms, and with Africa becoming the quote-unquote next hub, next Silicon Valley, or rather the Silicon Valley of West Africa, has also helped more people pay more attention to what is happening in the space. And I always, say that the most important thing when it comes to, helping people understand is basically making people have conversations. When people ask questions, that is the beginning of enlightenment. And I think that success stories make people ask more questions. When people see that somebody else did it, it's more relatable to them. And so I think that right now, you guys have a privilege, or the privilege of learning more quicker than we did way back, or than I did. So I think that right now we're still on track, but I think that we need to pay more attention right now to not just getting into the crypto space and earning on a personal level. I think that with the technological revolution, Africa has an opportunity to be a big player in the world on a global scale, where we have ownership of, technological advancement. And so I want us to begin to, share, sell, buy NFTs on our own African platforms. I want us to begin to get into conversations of the metaverse. And I think that, with DeFi platforms, there's a huge opportunity for people who have been unbankable to get into the space and begin to, transact with, their funds. People who couldn't get bank accounts in the villages, people who couldn't get loans or have access to loans in, remote towns, should be able to now have those opportunities at their fingertips. So right now, I think that ownership and platforms should begin to think of how they can make and simplify processes and make it accessible to the fingertips of people. So I think we're on track when it comes to personalized information, but I think that on a larger scale, we have to get into those deeper conversations and practices that will help us own, spaces here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And then a lot of the platforms we use today, a lot of these crypto fintech companies, by just signing up or by virtue of following them across social media handles, you see they share a lot of knowledge, right? For the ones I use, I know I get a lot of newsletters. There's usually the learn part. There is hardly any player in that space that does not have a section for learning. And a lot more of them are investing in videos. So I think the first step would be choose who you want. Choose the platform you want to stick with and begin to leverage on the knowledge share that they give, right? And then there are courses on NFTs, on Udemy, on edX, on Coursera. There are courses on NFTs, on blockchain, on crypto. So you can never have like an information overload, because there are still a lot of people who don't even know yet. So where is the overload coming from? I don't know if that has rightly dealt. Thank you very much. And thanks for that question. The last question, please make it brief so that we can wrap up this session.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Alamin. I want to know what are the requirements for the time commitments if I want to go into crypto trading. So he compared it to real estate and the fact that we don't keep checking on the land every single day. But I feel that's the point we're doing crypto instead of real estate, that we're expecting something better, perhaps faster. So what are the time commitments that you give and some other commitments that it takes for you to monitor your trade and get your returns?
Okay, thank you for your question. I'm not a crypto trader. I'm a crypto investor. And I'm also just getting into the opportunities that it affords me. Now, there are people who are crypto traders, and I've seen the way they live their lives. I cannot, because me, I don't have that kind of heart. First of all, I like to sleep, you know. And then I'm also busy. I actually have a job, like I'm working. So I do not, and I'm not really the kind of person that's always checking my phone 24/7. So I just knew that wasn't my life. Crypto trading and checking, I buy in now. I'm checking every 2 minutes to see when it buy. No, so I just said, I'm going to take a portion of this and then put in. And after a while, it's going to grow. And then when it grows, I pull out and then buy again something else that will grow and come back when that first coin has a dip. And it takes basically between, let's say, a couple of months. Sometimes it could take a year. It could take weeks. But it's just basically keeping abreast of information. So, but it's different from having to check every minute and making sure. I don't think that I have enough information for crypto trading. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to consider your heart as well, right? I think this is almost like the end of this session. We want to thank you for your patience. Thank you for all the questions. And thank
I have
you
a question.
very much.
A question,
thank you
please.
very much for...
Hello?
Oh, sorry. We only gave room for... Okay. Should we allow him ask his question? All right.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to congratulate TechNext for this conference.
TechNext.
TechNext 2.0. My question goes thus. You mentioned in your comment that if you want to invest, you have to make some research. So if new token comes out, what are those things that you research in? What do you actually check? And how do you advise others on exactly what to check before you invest in any cryptocurrency? And I want you to appreciate why I'm asking this question. My name is Jagede Paul. We came up with a project that I would say is the best in the world in cryptocurrency space. It's the best in the world in the sense that you cannot lose your money. We are a mining company because we know that Africa is awash with resources of gold. In Nigeria alone, the gold that is there is in trillions of dollars and yet to be tapped. The highest company mining gold in Nigeria, they are from Canada. So also in Ghana, where we are. We thought it that Bitcoin just came down from up down there. How do we come with a project that you can never lose your money when you invest it? Then we came up with JP Gold Coin. JP Gold Coin from our Ghana company. And said, people, this is JP Gold Coin. Whatever you invest, you can never lose it. You can only gain more because it has hybrid features. Hybrid features of gold growing. Your gold value is growing and your cryptocurrency can fluctuate anyhow, but whatever you invest, you can never lose it.
All right.
But to our amazement, you people just take it as normal cryptocurrency, and they were losing their investment.
Off
so I
your
was
mic,
wondering,
off your mic.
what
So
else do
can
you
we
check?
get to the question?
That is
Let's
what
get
I'm
to the
asking.
question.
That what else can one look for? Can he guide the people to say, this is exactly what you look for before you invest, and this is how you watch your investment?
All right. Thank you very much. He just gave a pitch. That is interesting. So the question you've asked is what to look out for when you find a new token, like your token, right? Please.
Thank you for your 3-minute speech. Your question too. To just simplify, the answer to your question. What I look for before I make an investment into, a project or a token is basically I research on the use cases of that project. Who are the people behind it? What have they done before? Like I said, the currency for every business is trust. So if I can put a track record on who they are, what they've done before, why they're in the space, what this, project is going to do, what are the use cases, how effective is it going to be, is it going to actually be, advantageous to the blockchain, to the people, to the users, then I can begin to think of getting into the project. I'm also very, very skeptical about the kind of influencers that some of these projects use. I also check their following. So if they have a good following, if they have an organic following, then that makes me also, more open to it. And of course, the integrity of the influencers or the people they use who speak for them, the spokespeople, the spokespersons, then that gives me a little bit of confidence. Then, when it comes to investing into a new token, very few people have the opportunity to get into stages of IDOs. So most people don't get that opportunity. But if I have the opportunity to do that, or you have the opportunity to do that, you can never really lose. Like we say, invest money that you're okay to lose. But when you can get into a project at a very early stage, you don't have to put in.
But it's different from having to check every minute and making sure that I don't think that I have enough information for crypto trading. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to consider your heart as well. I think this is almost like the end of this session. We want to thank you for your patience. Thank you for all the questions. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for...
Hello?
Oh, sorry. We only gave room for... Okay, should we allow him to ask this question? All right.
Thank you very much. First of all, to congratulate TechNext for this conference.
TechNext
2.0. My question goes thus. You mentioned in your comment that if you want to invest, you have to make some research. So if new token comes out, what are those things that you have to be researching? What do you actually check? And how do you advise others on exactly what to check before you invest in any cryptocurrency? And I want you to appreciate why I'm asking this question. My name is Jagede Paul. We came up with a project that I would say is the best in the world in cryptocurrency space. It's the best in the world in the sense that you cannot lose your money. We are a mining company because we know that Africa is awash with resources of gold. In Nigeria alone, the gold that is there is in trillions of dollars and yet to be tapped. The highest company mining gold in Nigeria, they are from Canada. So also in Ghana, where we are, we thought it that Bitcoin just came down from up down there. How do we come into a project that you can never lose your money when you invest it. Then we came up with JP Go Coin. JP Go Coin from our Ghana company. And said, people, this is JP Go Coin. Whatever you invest, you can never lose it. You can only gain more because it has hybrid features. Hybrid features of growing. Your portfolio is growing, and your cryptocurrency can fluctuate anyhow. But whatever you invest, you can never lose it.
All right.
But our amazement, you people just take it as normal cryptocurrency and they were losing their investment. So I was wondering, what else can we
Get to the question.
That's what I'm asking you. That what else can one look for? Can you guide the people to say, this is exactly what you look for before you invest, and this is how you watch your investment?
All right. Thank you very much. He just gave a pitch. That's interesting. So the question you've asked is what to look out for when you find a new token, like your token, right?
Thank you for your 3 minutes speech. Your question too. To just simplify, the answer to your question. What I look for before I make an investment into, project or token is basically I research on the use cases of that project. Who are the people behind it? What have they done before? Like I said, the currency for every business is trust. So if I can put a track record on who they are, what they've done before, why they're in the space, what this project is going to do, what are the use cases, how effective is it going to be, is it going to actually be, advantageous to the blockchain, to the people, to the users, then I can begin to think of getting into the project. I'm also very, very skeptical about the kind of influencers that some of these projects use. I also check their following. So if they have a good following, if they have an organic following, then that makes me also, more open to it. And of course, the integrity of the influencers or the people they use who speak for them, the spokespeople, the spokespersons, then that gives me a little bit of confidence. Then, when it comes to investing into a new token, very few people have the opportunity to get into stages of IGOs. So most people don't get that opportunity. But if I have the opportunity to do that, or you have the opportunity to do that, you can never really lose. Like we say, invest money that you're okay to lose. But when you can get into a project at a very early stage, you don't have to put in as much. You can put in very little because it will always, if it's going to be a great project, it would 1,000x regardless. So I think that some people say whether it's bad or good, I'll put in money, I can't lose it because it's an ideal. But I think that, those are the peculiarities of that situation. But just basically research is basically the answer. And even with that, there's no guarantee. So put at the back of your mind that if it goes, it goes. At the end of the day, crypto has a myriad of opportunities, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think there's something called white papers, right? That people also, but I don't know if there are fake white papers now. That's another angle to look at. Any final words, or you said everything you've got to say? Any last word? Make it brief, so that they will catch the summary of everything we said so far.
I think final word. We Nigerians, and we need to look at opportunities that give us an ownership platform. Invest in companies, invest in projects that are African, that are from African platforms, and that have a global use case. We should come up from the mentality of just surviving but we should begin to look at ourselves as a people who have the opportunity to thrive in this space, and that is the opportunity that this gives us, you know. So yeah, I would just say, don't be afraid, go in, learn as much as you can, and, you know, give it what you have. Thank you very much.